Masters community, welcome back to another video here with Kyle Chris, and actually going to be giving you guys something I don't think anyone other than the gentleman who is going to be talking in this video probably would have seen happening, which was the last weekend, this previous weekend, we had our last online event for 2024-2025 season, the LCQ, and we had a top 8 red garlic deck that ended up going X1. Now, I have Tyler here with me. And how you doing today, Tyler?
I'm doing all right.
This is impressive. I know we've played against a lot. I helped tiny little bit, but you really kind of made this deck, I would say, do really well. So how was your, I guess, your experience on the weekend? This also was your first Dragon Ball event, right?
Yeah, first one and pretty stoked to get top 8 in it.
Yeah, I would I would say so. It's a really like a milestone but your very first event, and you take a deck that has never topped before, and a lot of people would say is not a good deck. And I'm sure you probably heard that a lot of saying, "Oh wow, you played Garlic." Like that's kind of out of left field. But what was your whole idea around bringing this deck?
Um, Honestly, it's just I because I've been playing with it for the past 2 months. It's been pretty much my comfort pick, and
Mm,
the versatility of the deck is what really makes it shine. Like being able to either go wide with a bunch of bodies on board if you know that they have ways to remove indestructible, or being able to just go tall with one big indestructible body that they can't remove.
mm. Okay.
So, and then of course the panic button at the end of the game. Hey, I'm at 2 life. I'm not dying. Thanks. Have a nice time.
Now, did you catch anybody off guard with that?
Catch them off guard? No, but make them play through it? Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
So they was like someone would swing double strike or something. You're like, okay, I'm just not going to take damage the rest of the turn.
Yeah, I think one game at the end of the game, he went to swing double at me, and it was the first swing of his turn, and I was just like, I'm just gonna pay one now, do this. Now I don't have to worry about the rest of this turn. Good luck.
Okay. Well, let's go over. Figure we'll go over the leader first because this is might be the first time anyone's ever. Some people watching this video have even read this leader. So why don't you give us a breakdown of the leader first, then we'll go over the deck.
Um, so the front side, he has an activate main to switch him to rest, and he plays one of the named cards. So named or Ginger, Sancio, or Nikki,
Mm-hmm.
one cost from your deck, and each of those have an ability on them to search for Dragon Balls because you're a wish leader. Um, and then when you get 7 and drop, you get to wish, get the desire card, which is Garlic Jr.'s ambition, which I assume we'll go over in a
Yeah.
moment. Uh, on his awakened side, though, this is where the versatility really comes in. He has an activate main to either play a 4 cost of one of the same named cards with their
Mm-hmm.
skills negated for the turn,
Mm-hmm.
or to play the desire card that you search for with your wish ability.
Okay.
And then he has an activate battle, pay 1 red. If you're at 2 or less life and you remove 7 Dragon Balls from drop, you just don't take damage for the turn.
Mm.
He does flip back over, but at that point, you're either going to close out the game the next turn,
Mm-hmm.
or you're going to be able to probably floodgate for another turn or something.
Yeah. It's a lot. I mean, wish leaders been really haven't been relevant in a while, just because you're so locked to having to awaken when you have 7 Dragon Balls. Did you find yourself? I guess first question is this a 60 card list?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
So how many times? I'm sure it seemed to maybe not pop up during the tournament, but how many times were you kind of seeing more than like 3 Dragon Balls in your life, or did that not ever happen?
Today, or well, not today, in the tournament, it didn't happen at all. I at
Wow.
most saw 2. Um, one game I saw none in life. So
Mm.
look
It
at the
makes you feel
draw on
good.
that one.
It makes you feel
Yeah,
good. You look through, you're like, oh, thank God. I don't have any
I
in my life.
I had a game that I awoken at 8 life, and then I finished the game on turn 5 still at 8 life.
Wow. Well, we'll
It
talk
was
about that. I'm interested to hear your matchups. I think I read what you said your matchups were, but I want to hear kind of how your experience went. So let's go over the deck first. Go over the main deck and kind of go into the rest of the anything else you probably want to give some advice on with this deck, because who knows, maybe people want to play this for Nats. Who knows, right? So we have 7 Dragon Balls, of course, because you have to run 7 Dragon Balls. So you have 3 of the standard Dragon Ball, which is just draw 1. And then you have the red one here, which allows you to search top 3, which basically allows you to search out the majority of your deck, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yeah. The majority of the deck is either Namekian or Demon Clan, and unless it's like the boss monster of the deck, that Dragon Ball will search it. And it's important to note, when you get to search for your Dragon Balls, you get to pick which one, and depending on your hand, like say you don't have a 1-drop to go search for more Dragon Balls, you just search for 2 of the suggestions, and then you search top 6 for a 1-drop basically,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
you get to go get more Dragon Balls. Or if you already have 1-drop but you don't have a Dragon Ball in hand, you just go get the draw ones.
Yeah. So you do have there's definitely some flexibility there with how you can kind of craft your hand early if you want to just draw extra cards, or if you're looking for something particular, you can kind of search the Dragon Ball that's going to do that. So that's pretty cool. I would say that's a nice little feature. And you have 2. You play the 2 1-drops, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. You have Ginger and then Sansio. So these roughly do the same thing, right?
Yeah, so both of the 1-drops, they have an auto when played. They either search for the same name card, energy cost of 4 from deck,
Mm-hmm.
or you bottom deck 1 and you search for 2 Dragon Balls through deck and life.
Okay. So and there's 3 of these, right? So do you not just does the other one just not just for maybe for deck space, or did you just feel it was just not worth running all 3 of them?
Well, so we'll get into the 4-drops later, but with the new promos, the 1-drops, the second effect to search for their own name for 4 costs, it's only important to have these 2 names.
Okay.
And you do enough searching and your leader plays the 1-drop from deck, so you don't have to have 12 of the 1-drops to search for more Dragon Balls.
Okay. And then next we have 4 of the Garlic Jr.'s Ambition, which seems to be probably one of the most important cards in the deck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's the cornerstone of the deck. It's what gives your Garlic Jr.'s indestructible. So it's Desire card, so you get to play it off the leader. Activate main on Awaken side. It's also what you search for on the Wish. And you get to draw 1, give Garlic Jr. indestructible, and then if you use it by leader effect, draw an additional 1. So most times it's draw 2, give something indestructible.
That's pretty
We
good.
just pot agreed each turn.
Yeah. And you can do this. Were there times where you did this in multiple turns, like multiple of these in the same turn, or was it just better just to?
I have done it 2 to 3 times in the same turn. Because some of the Garlic Juniors get specific effects based off of having indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, who doesn't want to have indestructible until the end of the opponent's turn?
Indestructible is really good, man. It is really it's a really good effect. I see we got 3 Explosive Dance. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You just run 3 just because space?
No, I didn't have the budget to buy the 4th when I bought 3, and then they went down in price, and I just never bought the 4th.
Oh, okay. See, you guys don't need 4 Explosive Dances. You guys could just run 3. It's fine. But I guess with your leader effect, too, it kind of counts as a hard
The
negate.
deck
So
does a lot of deck thinning and drawing. So honestly, you hitting getting a three of in a deck, it's super consistent.
okay. The next we have our super combo, which is the new Piccolo Junior. I mean, he's a Namekian, so he's searchable. So that makes a lot of sense. Was there does the deck build a lot of Z energy?
So on the first 2 turns, you're playing a bunch of 1-drops that aren't gonna swing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do with them when they're on the board? You just combo them away.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you get up to at least 2 Z energy around turn 2, maybe 3 turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on what you started with. And considering you need a Z energy for the Z battle, yeah, it builds a decent amount.
Okay.
I tend to try to stay at 2, but that's because of other reasons.
Gotcha. Okay. 3 testing the op seems. I mean, that's typical red negate. Probably don't need too much conversation around it. Obviously, it's just a really hard negate. You got this was I'm sure a little spicy. Is the grandfather's strength pan. So tell me a little bit about the I guess the functionality in this deck with this card. I know there's other cards in the deck that kind of allow this to work, but what's your thoughts?
So this deck, while it can clear boards, when boards start to have bigger bodies, the effect on this just starts to go nuts with the rest of the effects in the deck. Again, I'm only running 2, not so much because of space-wise, but because I'm bound to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
But it also doesn't come up in every matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are the barrier blocker matchups or things like that it's just, okay, well, I get extra draw. So now my ambition, because of other cards, becomes a draw 3.
Yeah. And if you can practice on your opponent's turn, or if you practice later on a turn, the card can put in a lot of work. It's just a nice little piece of non-engine tech that you came up with, and I think this is I mean, it's a good card in any red deck, but it's interesting you found a way of actually fitting it into this deck. And then we have, I think these are all of the 4-drops that are not the promos here. So you run 3 Ginger, 3 Sanso, and then 1 Nikki.
So the only important one out of the 3 of these is the Sansio.
Yeah.
Who's a free negate if you have a Garlic Jr. energy cost 5 or more with Indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Ginger can come up early because it's a double striker if you have a Garlic Jr. with Indestructible, while Nikki is a crit with same condition.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason Nikki is in the list is because I couldn't find a 4th Sansio.
Of the hard negate. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just couldn't find a 4th, so I was like, well, I want an additional demon clan to be able to search off of suggestion.
Yeah.
So it stayed in.
Someone send this man a full playset of pre-release of this negate, please. I think he deserves it. So if you guys have him in your binders, just send it to him. Like he should probably have 4 of that card. So did you actually ever play the Nikki card, or is it just you're like, okay, I have it in my hand, I'm just gonna charge it now?
In the LCQ, no, I did not play it. In testing, it came up once. And I mean, a 20k crit's not bad. It's just not what I wanted.
It's fair. Okay. Then we get to the 2 promo cards. They're interference cards. These are really good. After going back and reading them, you have to remove these cards. How powerful these are. So give me a little bit of a let's go over the Ginger first. Give me a little explanation of this card.
Okay, so Ginger, they both have the same permanent of they can't have their skills negated in any area by Red Garlic Jr. cards, which is crazy because the leader negates skills for the turn. There are other cards that negate for game, but we'll get to those in a minute. So basically, you get to free play them from deck, or if you play them from hand, doesn't really matter. And then you still have their autos. Ginger, end of turn, draw one, choose one of your Garlic Juniors, switch it to active. It gets blocker until end of opponent's turn. So now you have a blocker indestructible on opponent's turn.
Wow. Can you?
They're not removing it.
Can you give your leader this?
Yes.
Wow.
So there were a few times during the LCQ that actually came up. This deck has a tendency that if you draw right, you can awaken turn 1.
Yeah, I've noticed myself during playtesting.
I love this deck because awakening turn 1, staying at like 7 or 8 life is crazy. And so once you awaken turn 1, your opponent's not really going to have a board, which would matter for Sancho. They're not really going to have a board, or if they have anything, it's like a 1-drop that's not important. So just using the leader activate main instead of playing the desire card because you don't have a Garlic Jr. out yet, you just play the 4-drop Ginger from deck. And now you have a draw engine that's live turn 1. You can swing with it, combo out something if you're going second. Now you're building Z energy. Now you end your turn, you draw one, switch your leader to active, give it blocker. Now they do their 1 or 2 swings the next turn. You have combo power on board, and you have your leader to block to keep the Ginger alive.
Yeah, this card it becomes a priority to remove because the fact you're just continuously getting a draw, and it's not. I think what also is irritating is that this is not like a once per turn, like a limit effect. Like if you have 2 of these on board, you're like, all right, I'm just gonna draw 2 and then restand 2 garlics and gain hand advantage. It's wild. And then the Sanso, this card here is also annoying. Probably a little more annoying than the Ginger, just because this one actually has the ability of reducing battle cards in unison, ignoring barrier, which and also draws the card. So I know this pain myself. This card is very frustrating to play against. Most of the time, did you find yourself? I mean, I'm sure it probably depends on the situation, but like, how often were you playing these guys? Was it just every turn?
Pretty much from, dependent on whether or not I awaken turn 1. If I awaken turn 1, it's playing one of them on turn 1, and then turn 3 onwards, I'm playing one.
Okay.
Turn 2 is typically reserved for Z-deck shenanigans. But yeah, pretty much it's at least 1 a turn, maybe even more. Just depends on hand.
Okay. And then we have some just generic good red stuff with defeating the demon, of course. Your counterplay. Don't think it needs a lot of introduction. Again, you as you said before, you're already kind of building Z energy, so this card is going to be cheaper, and then also you do play a Z battle card, which also helps reduce this cost. So yeah, do you have anything to add with Gohan? I'm sure maybe not, but it's super good card.
The only thing, not really to add, I'm actually thinking about cutting him down to 2 because it's not like charismatic villain. That's the card, right? Not like charismatic or the black counterplay that just immediately removes a body. It's only a neg 20.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hit barrier.
It's true.
So
it's Red's biggest weakness is barrier removal. So
it's okay. This deck handles barrier pretty easily.
It does. You're right. You're right. Let's get into. So then we have the. This is one of the newer Garlic Jr. supports, other than like the promo cards. So this is a turn, right? This is the newer one, or is this?
Yeah, this is the one from BT23.
Okay.
So this one is a turn 4 play. You pay 1, play it from hand, then you get to auto when it's played. Look for the wish card from deck or drop, add it to hand. And then he has an activate main, pay 2 red. if you have 4 or more energy, you can play the 8 cost on top of him. And then it reduces the cost of the desire card by 1, so making it free.
Okay. So
So you
technically,
don't
your
even have
leader
to
can do
use
it
the
twice for free,
yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of cool. And then we have the other one, which okay, I think I got their name mixed up. They're both eternal, but one's eternal time and one's eternal life. Okay, so this is the one that came with the leader.
Yes, and this is the one that makes the promos ridiculous. Starting turn 3, you just pay 1, bottom deck a card from hand, and then you can play him and either draw or add a desire card from drop to hand. And then auto, when he's played, he plays a demon clan from deck, energy cost 2 or 4, 15k or less, with its skills negated for the game. But that doesn't matter because the promos just say their skills don't get negated. So you're getting 2 bodies for the cost of 1, plus draw, plus the desire card, which then is drawing 2 more. You're gaining value so much with this card.
Yeah, that's a lot. You're doing a lot, man. Yeah. So I'm sure that was, yeah, like being able to go. You can go wide really quickly. If your opponent can't react to it, yeah, there's so much value. It's crazy that no one else has kind of thought about trying to play this deck like this. Then you have the 8-drop, Invitation to Internal Darkness. So this guy, this is the one that does the permanent board power reduction.
Yes,
Okay.
this is your, hey, you got a bunch of small bodies that have barrier. Okay, I'm just gonna neg 10 them because it doesn't target. It's just a static effect.
Yeah.
This is also the 8-drop that you put on top of the 5-drop.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to do the desire card on him for free, give him indestructible, draw 2, and now opponent's battle cards and unisons. That's the important part. And unisons get neg 10k.
And
Just
this is not on
permanent.
just your turn. This is on your opponent's turn as well.
Yes. And
Wow.
then, of course, he's a 30k dual attacker. But what also makes him versatile is he has the activate main, limit 1, pay 2 red if you have 4 or more energy. And then you can play him and choose all battle cards other than him, and they get neg 15. So you can effectively do a neg 25k board wipe.
Mm. Yeah, it's pretty good. It does hit your own cards, but I mean you're probably, if you're doing this, you're probably more worried about getting rid of their cards and saving yours. So
Yeah.
okay. And the last card in this deck, we have an oldie. Very, very. There was a point where this card was like 200 plus. We have the Unbridled Power Vegeta. So, break this down to me. So, was this your ideal secret rare for the deck? If it's not, if it is, why? If you could have put in a different secret rare, would you have? But give me some information on this.
So this card already builds a lot, or sorry, not this card. This deck builds a lot of cards in your drop, so you're going to hit the Sparking 25. So until the new set, this is definitely the go-to SER for this deck.
Okay.
Yeah, it costs 4 energy, but you're definitely at least going to make it to turn 4 with your leader.
Mm-hmm.
And you can push damage by going wide or going tall and doing different things. So then you can get them down to 1 life and just play this. Let's just get rid of that last life. Or if they're at like 4 life, you get to swing dual attack, triple strike.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, getting to Sparking 25 in this deck is super easy, especially with the Dragon Balls because you're already at 7.
Yeah.
And this card is specifically the reason why I don't build a lot of Z energy. Like, I stay at 2, and then all my combo cards, unless I'm going to play like Mighty Blast, just go straight to the drop.
Now, were you able to burn anybody for last life during the tournament?
If I had drawn it. My last game made me so mad. It was my last card in deck.
Yeah, that was watching that, and I was wondering. I'm like, is he just waiting, or is he not able to draw it? And yeah, that's frustrating. But this card also, and I think I forget this sometimes. This card also reduces your opponent's leader by 5k for the turn. So making them a 10k, or if they're a Z leader, making them a 15k, and that makes all of your attacks essentially cost them more cards from hand if they're gonna try to
Yeah,
combo
so
out.
it's funny you mentioned that. I don't typically play them like that because I'm always scared of floodgates.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do that. Say you're at 5 energy. You can pay 1 for the Garlic.JR Eternal Life, play him, play another 4-drop from deck, activate Mana Leader, play another 4-drop. That's 3 bodies. And then you just pay 4, play this guy. Now you have 4 bodies that are at least 15k going to be swinging into a 10k.
Yep.
All back to back back.
Yeah. Now, obviously, traditionally, the floodgate, as you said, it's going to come in
Yeah.
against most decks, but having this as like an ace in your back pocket to be able to burn them for 1 life, or as you said, swing triple strike, like it's definitely for people who probably haven't really played test against you or played you. They probably weren't expecting, for one, obviously the deck, but also expecting this as a secret rare, because a lot of us probably forgot this card existed. So it's a great way of surprising people. And then the Z deck. So we'll start with the Z deck here before we go to the side. So we have obviously the one Mighty Blast. It's your typical red Z battle card. And then you have the 1-drop GARLIC.JR here that kind of allows you to, I guess I would consider this probably would you consider this chain the better, like, 5-drop to play over the other 2 that are in your deck? I guess situationally, but
Yeah, it really depends on what you're playing against, but this chain makes it where you always have a Garlic.JR no matter what you draw.
Mhm.
That's the important part, because then you have your draw engine live with your desire card to draw to.
Yeah, so you got a 1-drop deflect barrier, and then obviously when you use the ambition, this becomes an indestructible 15k. You tap 1 and you go into the Garlic 3-drop, which this one is a 25k. Now, remind people, because I'm sure if someone's going to try this deck now, when you evolve, when the next card goes over top, that card does or does not keep indestructible.
It does not.
Okay.
So if you're going to give it indestructible and then you want to go into the 3-drop, you want to go to 3-drop first, then give it indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this whole chain has the permanent to gain 10k, and this is what triggers the grandfather strength.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It gets plus 10k is by a skill, so then pan triggers, you draw 1, you get to neg 20. So typically I'll stay on the 1-drop for a little while. Obviously depends on what I'm drawing and what I'm playing against, but typically I'll stay on the 1-drop because a barrier indestructible is hard to deal with.
Yep.
And then if they play like a 35k body, okay, so I'm just gonna pay 1, go into the 3-drop, neg 20 it, pay 1, play out my grandfather's strength, and activate Main of Leader. We'll go ahead, give it indestructible. It'll gain 10k, pan triggers, I'll draw 1, I'll neg 20 it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, your 35, 40k body, it's gone.
It's dead. Yeah, this can kill anything, any secret rare, as long as it doesn't have barrier. Killing whatever it is, which is it's very it's crazy how the permanent, like, this whole thing with grandfather works. It just gives you as you said, it gives you kind of an extra draw engine, but also some removal. Even if you just stick to keeping the 1-drop out, you just give them indestructible every turn, and then you're reducing something by 20 and drawing a card. Like, that's really solid.
It's the last card's the 5-drop. We can go into that before I
Okay.
go into this other part. So the 5-drop. It's a crazy card. Critical, gains 10k, double strike. So double strike critical. That's already great. But then on top of that, it has this auto. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it has indestructible. This auto. Let me just choose one of your battle cards of unison. Ignoring barrier and neg 30k power for the turn.
Yeah, it's really annoying being a Vegito player. Just if I don't have a petrification in my hand, my Vegito just dies. So it's real cool.
I see your Vegito. I'm just gonna swing with this 35k double strike critical. No negates. Okay, I'll just neg 30 it. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Enjoy this 35 double crit.
Yeah, it's quite irritating. Now you do run 2 of each of these. Were there times where you got to go into a second chain, or was it primarily just one?
At least 3 of the 6 rounds I went into a second chain.
Oh wow.
Typically it's because the first chain gets killed.
Yeah.
So and this is just you have to play the deck to understand and play against the matchups. But green, black, both of those, you have to be wary about them having a unison out and you trying to go up the chain.
Yeah.
Because you pay 1, go into the 3-drop. Oh, I'm just going to counterplay with Charismatic or counterplay with striking a weak point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, your chain's gone. Have a nice day. So if I'm in those matchups, I typically, it's the last thing I do for the turn to go up the chain.
Gotcha. Okay.
There are also different games that you're already at the 5-drop. While each of these to go up the stage is a limit 1. And this actually comes to the point that I was going to make. So you have the 5-drop out. Say it's turn 5. You've swung the 5-drop. You had it have indestructible, has double strike crit. They stop it. They're getting low on life. You pay 1 and 1, go into the 1-drop.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you pay 1, go into the 3-drop on top of the 1-drop. You neg 20 something. Say it's like the token negate that they played or something. Now you swing with the 3-drop. You don't give it indestructible. You just swing with it. Oh, okay. They take damage or they don't. They combo out. I'm just going to pay 1, play the 5-drop inactive.
Yeah.
Each time you go up, it plays inactive.
Yeah, so you get an extra swing every single time, which is nuts. Yeah, this is, and I think right now too, we'll talk about it with your matchups, but I feel like the indestructible tag does really good into the current format of what you're playing against. I mean, there's a green deck that has a lot of indestructible that seems to do really well into the format, so you kind of follow a similar, concept, minus the fact that your deck does something much differently, but having the indestructible tag I think does really well. Did you find yourself like your opponents were struggling to remove some of your indestructible cards because they weren't playing cards to remove it, or I guess didn't see them?
Yeah, we'll get into that in the matchups, but yeah, if they didn't, so because a lot of people are not familiar with this deck, some people didn't side their indestructible stuff in, or indestructible killer stuff, and that just means, oh, I get a free body that gets to swing every turn that you can't deal with? Oh no!
Yeah.
So yes, it was very good, and it sucked for my opponents.
It's good for you though. That's all that matters. So we got 7 cards here. So the last 3 cards we have 2 rush attack. Got another oldie but a goodie.
I'm
Card's still
only
good.
running 2 because I couldn't get the Crimson Guardian Deity in time. I had ordered it, it never came in.
Okay.
I only want the unison for like board clearing later, but it's not that big of a deal. This rush attack only came up once.
Okay.
In the entire day.
And then the last one is the non-stop attack Goku, which See if that's a red battle card with 30k power or more in play, which surprisingly you probably will. Play this guy, and then you can also basically make him a double strike. Did you play this guy at all?
No.
No? Okay.
He's probably gonna get cut, but I don't know what for yet.
Okay. And then let's go into the side deck. So we do have one Pan in the side deck. Since you did have one in your main deck, it already shows up here. So you just had an extra one. 2 Broly Crown. And I think after this weekend, as you prep for making your Legendary Nationals run, hopefully, this might be a card you might consider having more of.
It just depends if I see more blue. I only saw one blue in the LCQ, and it was my one loss.
Yeah.
But I saw both of these in that matchup, and he bottom decked both of them.
When you went to go play them?
Well, sorry. He didn't bottom deck both of them. I got to play one. He bottom decked the same one twice. Because I draw so much and filter so much, I got to it again.
Wow, okay. It's a good card, though. I mean, it's good into the Zamasu matchup, which I don't think you would probably... You probably 50-50 matchup in it just because you draw so much, but you can remove all their stuff.
I can limit my own draw.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to really draw.
I don't have to draw. I can just go wide. I don't have to go with the indestructible chains.
You have the Hidden Ambition. Gives you a counter. It's pretty...
a simple green hate card.
Yeah. We don't like green. I don't like green. 2 Quizukai. Kind of a similar thing for the Zamasu, and then just basically every other thing but green. 2 Shoes.
Specifically for Zamasu. This is my one card that is specifically for Zamasu. They go to play the 1-drop that's 5k.
Yep, from the Z deck.
And yeah, it just goes straight to drop.
Yeah.
We're not letting that happen.
No. 2 Violent Rays. This was I'm gonna guess and say it was for black.
Yes, Violent Rays is specifically for black because it's the more aggro color, and they have the 30k power or more bodies.
Yep.
Which it did come up in round 5.
Did you ever use the Unison effect?
No.
Okay.
Not this set. Next set, maybe.
Yeah, next set maybe.
With Jiren.
We have 2 Deborahs. Again, probably for green, of course.
Yep.
And you cycle a lot, so you're probably seeing both of these almost every time you play against a green deck.
When I sided it in, I saw it both copies.
It's good. And then 2 Topo. Give you a hard battle card negate.
Also for black.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Their
Not
hand
fun.
size goes down. I mean, yeah, it most of the side deck is pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing new or creative here.
Yeah, I mean, there's the deck enough is creative. Okay, like if we don't need, you don't need to add a bunch of creative stuff in the side deck where your main deck is already pretty spicy as it is because you're playing Garlic. So what let's run through your matchups real quick, and then if any I guess comments on these particular matchups.
So round 1, my opponent no-showed, so I got lucky there. You know, they were scared to face the Garlic.
Agreed.
They must have been a vampire because Garlic keeps the vampires away. Round 2 was against I heard it was Ivo, on SS3 Son Goku reboot.
Mm-hmm.
That matchup, while it didn't feel bad, I didn't get to win. He saw all 4 of the Vegeta floodgates, the 4-drop ones.
Yeah,
I think it's Vegeta.
Ready to rumble.
Yeah, he saw all 4 ready to rumbles. And there's just not much I could do about that.
Yeah.
It just back to back, ready to rumble. And then when I tried to Broly Crown the first time, he bottom decked it with one of the counter plays.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom decks it, and then like a turn or two later, I played my second one. It goes through. I was gonna get rid of Ready to Rumble, but he had the Indestructible Killer in hand, so I got rid of that.
Okay.
Um, and
Oh, the
then
trunks, the trunks
yeah,
card. Okay.
and then I tried to play another Broly Crown of Retribution a turn later, or a turn or two later, because I drew back into it, and he counterplayed it again, bottom decked it. And then it was just constant, just I'm floodgated, I can't do anything. And then
Hmm.
on my final turn, I had a brain fart and I forgot the quates. So he got to Ready to Rumble and peel off Shumai. Before I remembered that I had my second Quaitson drop.
Ah.
Overall, the matchup felt fine. It's just I had no respect for blue. I
Yeah.
didn't expect anybody really to play it because I used to play blue and it just doesn't feel good right now.
No, no. I mean, it's still. I think you played against a very experienced player for your first event, so blue is still not in a good spot. Like it's it's really not. But that particular deck just plays that one floodgate, and that one floodgate makes playing most matchups very difficult. So, you're. I don't know. Was your first time experiencing the Ready to Rumble or not? But it's yeah,
It was.
it's a learning
It,
experience.
it was. It was actually my first time playing against the Goku Ramp deck. Period.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
Uh,
it's definitely an experience. That's for sure.
it felt like I was banging my head against the wall.
Yeah.
Uh, but he played it well, and like all credit where credit's due.
Yeah, you
He
lost to
did
the
really good.
person who won the event, so like
Yeah.
that's not a bad thing.
Round 3 was a guy that I've played online locals with. He was on Namaku.
Okay.
I think was that round 3 or was that round 4? I think it was either round 3 or 4. Uh, he was on Namaku. Um, honestly, I've played that matchup a few times, and other than them hitting into their trunks, that's also an indestructible killer. It feels like a fairly easy matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you just you build up a stack while you also go wide. For that matchup, I sided into Burras. I saw them, but he didn't make me discard.
Mm.
I sided in Hidden Ambitions. That is that's the card that saves this deck against green.
Yeah.
And then, like I mentioned earlier, that the Sancho being able to hit unisons is super important
Mm-hmm.
because now I can swing into a 5k unison and it's just going to take damage no matter what.
Yeah.
Or I get to get the unison down to one marker. Next turn, I have a Sancho on board. I swing a neg tenant. I play another Sancho because I'm safe from
Charismatic.
charismatic, and I swing it and I neg 10 the unison again. It just dies.
Yep.
Like unison centric matchups, because they're typically 10 or 15k. Sancho really shines.
Yeah. I would agree.
And then later in the game, the 5-drop just completely says no to anything big, including unisons.
Right. Okay.
The next round was a Shrimp and Salsa, which there's not really much to say about that matchup. It was just I've played against you on it quite a few times.
Yeah.
And as long as they don't play the Toa that shuffles, I think it shuffles any card.
Any card. Any card.
Yeah, as long as they don't do that and shuffle back one of your Dragon Balls, you're fine.
Yeah.
But if they shuffle back a Dragon Ball, then that turns off your activate battle. I think, jumping back for a second, the Namaku matchup was one of the only times that the activate battle came up.
Okay.
Because, I mean, he got me low. Sorry, I just remembered all about how that game ended. He got me
Mhm.
down to 2 life. I use the activate battle. He gets me down to 1, um, because I have to token negate the next turn and a floodgate or something, and then it's my turn to go back to crack back. He's at I want to say 4 life. Between getting to swing with the 5-drop double strike crit, getting him down to 2, and then using my SER to burn him for 1
Mhm.
to get him to 1, I managed to win in time, and that's the only way that I won in time.
Okay.
It was close. He did really, really well with it. Sherman's also really nothing to note there. Just ended up being a hey, I can out aggro you kind of game.
Yeah.
Uh, round 5, my favorite round of the day. I played against Vegito Zeno.
Mhm.
I
uh,
sided in Violet Rays and Topos. I don't. I think I sided out a Nikki, a Ginger, defeating the demon, and uh, I don't even remember the last card I sided out.
mhm.
Sometimes with this deck, you don't get a turn 2 awaken. It's very few and far between, but sometimes you don't get it. Um, so I went second. Turn 1, I go leader effect, get a Ginger, go get 2 Dragon Balls, search top 3 twice, get some random cards. But I didn't hit a second 1-drop, so I couldn't continue going to get more Dragon Balls.
Mhm.
And I had 1 in hand as well to start, so I was already at 3. And then I pass, it's his turn 2. He goes to swing. I just paid 1 for a Violent Race, because I didn't pay the 1 for a 1-drop.
Yeah.
His turn's over. Because he can't do anything. He can't overwhelm, he has nothing in drop.
Yeah.
He can't awaken because he doesn't have the unison. He can't
Mhm.
even play the unison because he doesn't have Z energy. My next turn, again, I'm just playing it slow. I play a 1-drop, I get 2 more Dragon Balls, I search, I don't get another 1-drop. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just pass the turn here with 2 energy up. He
Oh,
goes to swing at me.
you topoed him.
No, I explosive dance.
Oh.
I was like, if he's that desperate for Z energy, I'm just gonna explosive dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he passed the turn. Turn 3, I finally get to awaken. I play out Ginger from deck. I restand my leader at the end of turn. I draw 1. I think I played one of the 5-drops. Played out a second Ginger, and then I didn't swing. Because I was like, if I build up a big enough board, because Black doesn't have a floodgate, I can probably 8-0 him.
Yeah.
So I think it was turn 3. He swung with leader, and I topoed.
Uh.
I've played that matchup enough. I know. Just don't let him build Z energy, and you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely makes
And he
it.
still had nothing to drop.
I feel this guy's pain. This hurts.
Turn 4, I started swinging. I played out my indestructible chain. I started doing things. I get him down to, I want to say, 4 life, and then he just awakens that way.
Okay.
Following turn, he tries to swing. I have my free negate because I gave the 5-drop indestructible. I don't even have token date. I think it was just free negate, and then I defeating the demon one of his battle cards.
Okay.
That he tried to play. So he just wasn't allowed to play. My turn 5, I close out the game. I ended the game with 8 life.
That's so disrespectful.
8. I even have a screenshot of what my board looked like when that game ended. I was just so amazed by it.
I'm getting PTSD just you talking about this matchup. Like this just I feel so bad for this guy. Just couldn't have fun. It's not how to play the game. It just seems to be your goal.
I mean, I drew the cards. I drew the out.
That's true. All right, so that was your fifth. That was your what, round 5?
Yeah, that was round 5. Round 6 was against Beer on Namaku.
Mm.
I honestly, he has it saved on his Twitch in a VOD of how that game went. Once again, I did my typical green side in. I sided in Ambitions. I sided in Deburras. I was able to kill his Unison early because of Sancho. I turned 1 Awakened against him. I think I was going second. Yeah, I went second.
Mm-hmm.
I used Leader Activate Main, played a 1-drop, got 2 Dragon Balls. I had 1 in hand to start, so I used all 3. Got another 1-drop, played it, searched 2 more, popped Energy Marker, played my 3rd 1-drop, searched 2 more, did all my Dragon Ball stuff, Awaken, get the Desire card, and then just activate Main Leader, played Ginger out from deck, swung it, comboed a card away, end of turn, restand my leader, give it blocker, draw a card. It was great. And then pretty much every turn he tried to do something, I was just like, nah, you're not allowed to play. I think at some point he was like, dang, can I just play the game? And my immediate response was no.
Yeah, I was watching that game, and it was very... You after you destroyed the Unison, you just kind of controlled... And I know he said that, I think he didn't see any of the...
He didn't see the Trunks until turn 5.
Yeah, which hurts a lot. So not seeing that card on top of the fact that you kind of controlled the game, I mean, you did a really good job. Like, especially again for someone who's never played an event before with Dragon Ball, like, being able to like utilize the resources that you have and stall somebody and stop them from basically being able to gain resources, and then you're able to kill them. It's very impressive. It's very impressive to watch.
That was the funnest game. But not the best round, because the best round gets 8-0 on live. But
yeah, I would say that's the best round too. So you ended up finishing 8th, if not mistaken.
Yes, 8th.
Okay.
I think tiebreakers because of the no-show dragged me down just a little.
Yeah, probably a little bit. So I don't know if you've confirmed yet if you're going to Nats or not, but I don't know if you're going to be taking GARLIC.JR. Were there any change? I know you said you might take out like a Defeating the Demon, but like what type of changes are you looking to do? What did you find that the deck sort of lacked, or maybe you can upgrade a certain card?
It didn't feel lacking. Just sometimes I wouldn't draw what I needed because some cards in the deck are specific for matchups or just what kind of board state I'm playing against. Like Pan, good for helping me clear a wide board or clearing a big body. But sometimes I just didn't draw it. I also never sided in the 3rd because I needed to side in other things.
Yeah.
But I think my current plan is to drop the Nikki and the Defeating the Demon and add in 2 of the Android 13s.
The
I don't
promo
remember
card,
what
yeah.
it's called. Yeah. That neg 15s and draws a card on play.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it swings into a battle card, I get to restand it at the end of turn, and it has blocker.
Yep. You are a
So
non-Saiyan leader, so that's definitely going to help.
Yeah. There are a few changes that I'm thinking about next set, but that'll be if I continue playing GARLIC.JR next set. Thinking about playing Jiren.
Well, I mean, Nationals, you will have the new set live, so.
Yeah, it requires me to get the cards.
Yeah. That's very true. Well, any last words on the deck before we get out of here?
Just if you build the deck and you want to play it, you actually need to learn your matchups to know how to play it properly. Don't expect it to just play itself. That's the biggest thing of this deck. You got to know what you're playing against.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today. I'm sure I know a lot of people were very excited to hear your thoughts on this deck, and we're all very, very proud of you. Again, your very first event, you're able to get a top 8 placing with, again, a deck that no one would have given the light of day to. So you definitely shared a little bit of or shed a little bit of light on this deck, so maybe more people will try to play it and feel a little more confident in playing it after listening to you talk about the deck. So I do appreciate you joining me today.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you let me join, and I appreciate all the testing that we did beforehand.
Of course. That's what we do, man. Like I said, me and Navarre were talking about it. We're very, very proud of you. So this is definitely a big win for you. So hopefully we'll see some more of this at Nationals. So thank you guys for joining us, and I'll see you guys in the next video.